Hi,
afternoon.
hi, Wilson. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, and thanks for accepting my invite and coming on this podcast. I think my viewers will be very happy to see you being an industry veteran and also understand your life in this industry and also about what are your future plans, Saji. Thanks once again. Okay, Saji. Before I start, would you like to give a brief about yourself, a small brief about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Wilson, for having me here, and being a part of the podcast is a pleasure. Like always, I'll introduce myself. As you said, that yes, I've been in the industry for very long. Maybe I will get a lifetime achievement award for just being a part of the industry for 30 odd years. And I started my entire journey being a hospitality or a hotel management graduate, and then worked with the hotels. Then for some reasons, I wanted to start in the housekeeping space a company because that is the domain that I understood. I had an entrepreneurial journey as the start of my FM career. And I started a company, ran it for some time, maybe 12 odd years, then moved on to the corporate life, sat at all sides of the table. The last I moved on from the corporate journey as the chief operating officer for a listed firm. Post that, I felt a real need for the industry to move back to certain quality assured deliveries. I wanted to have something to do with training and people development. And I also believed that I wanted an industry which was more driven by data and information. And keeping these thoughts, I wanted to put a kind of a business model together. That journey is still on, Wilson. I mean, after a year plus in the industry or I've been in this particular business, I'm still that journey is on. But yes, we have been able to put together a solution for anyone who is very quality oriented in this particular space and who's really looking at a kind of a service focused approach or a customer centric approach. In that case, I think FM Future Labs is the entity that we have put together, which primarily focuses on training people, technology. So we have put together a basic applications for managing the operations, that is the field management. And the second is something to manage the assets, that is the entire building infrastructure management. Third, we have also started something to do with service assurance, that is the pure audit. Now, these were the three product lines that we thought would be something which market would be really looking forward to. But as the journey has progressed, we realized that while these individual solutions and the product line is having traction, but what typically people are reaching out to me and FFL is primarily to give a solution to their immediate certain problems that they are having, or they're launching a new product, they're doing a new pitch, and they're having a new thought process to be brought in, where they would want my thoughts, my ideas. So it's more of an advisory service, which at the end of the day is becoming my core function. All the products are only an ancillary product, though I wanted those to be the core, but that's not how the entire organization is developing. So that's
Yes,
where I
yes.
am today, Wilson.
Yeah, thanks, Aji. I think I have been following you from last so many years. I know you personally, also have worked with you professionally, also in different organizations and different
True,
capacity.
true, true.
You've been on both sides of the table, right? You've been on the partner side and also be on the customer side, right? So, which side do you think is the most challenging?
For me, even when I was at the service provider side, or when I was at the customer side, or as an entrepreneur in this field, I somehow believe that I owned up the entire end-to-end aspect of whatever I was responsible for. Okay, so I never differentiated whether which side of the table I was really sitting. So even if I was at the service provider, though your controls, your there are limitations to which how much you can influence. But I took that liberty or went a little bit beyond to say that it's my problem, it's my ownership, and I needed to deliver. So for me, technically, there was never a difference. But yes, it is much more easier to perform when you are at the buyer side, when you are, when you are at the end user side. It is much more easier because you are in control of most things. As a service provider, there are limitations, there are restrictions, there are boundaries beyond which one can't move forward, right? So that limitation do exist, but my approach has always been the fact that I own up whichever side of the table I sit on.
No, no, Saji, absolutely bang on. And knowing you and your passion for the quality and delivery, I can vouch for that. I think you have never differentiated probably whichever side you were, let it be at the owner side or at the service provider side. And I had the privilege to work with you and also to learn a lot of things from you. Okay. Saji, you are very passionate about people development. I have seen, whosoever has worked with you and always have praises for you. I have learned so much from Saji sir. I have learned so this thing from Saji sir. How does that thing come out? And what is that particular thing that you do? Ke people become fan of yours.
I mean, I'm thankful for this particular statement. I think that's one of the things which I've earned. One thing which probably I have earned over a period of time is that two sets of people who have worked with me will speak about me. One who would say that he's a taskmaster, is a very difficult guy to work with. And the second set of people are the one who would probably say that, yes, I have learned these particular process or particular approach, having engaged with me. The only thing is, I don't see things most times as is. And I request people to also see beyond what you're seeing and upfront, because that anybody in the line will see it. So if you are standing at a particular layer in the organization, you're supposed to see things at your level. You're not supposed to see things what you saw 3 years back, because at that time you were a supervisor. Today, if you are a manager, you're supposed to see things differently. And that has been my demand from people who have worked along with me. And in that journey, I'm sure at that time when they're engaging with me, they might have found it difficult. But over a period of time, once that engagement is, moved forward, they realize that, yes, this learning has really, really helped. So, and then they recognize at that time when the journey is happening, it's probably very, very difficult for them. So, and I believe that, we grow as a professional. We are not stagnant as a professional. So, and in that journey, you need to have someone who is able to push you to your limits. You need to also have people who are guiding you the right way. You're also able to explore things beyond what you are normally tend to see. And I've been able to make people visualize that, see that. And 99% of the time, I don't give the answers. I expect the person to find the answer on their own. And that journey may be little difficult and time consuming, I tend to not give the full answer at the first instance. So when the journey happens and when they learn on their own, and they land up seeing things in a different light. And maybe that's the reason why people today say that, I have learned this, in with the interaction with me.
Yes, yes. And Saji, I think the correct word is taskmaster. I think I also had some bosses who were certainly taskmaster. But when do you realize that you have learned is when you don't work with them,
Correct. True.
right?
True.
Once they moved on in their life, they realize, okay, this is why my boss or my manager used to treat me, because he wanted me to learn,
True.
right?
True.
And
True.
learning doesn't come easy unless you don't do it yourself. You can't learn
Correct.
swimming by reading SOP.
Yeah, SOP, how to swim.
How
Correct.
to swim. If you need to
True.
swim, you need to get into the water, and
Correct.
someone
Correct.
should be there to see you, or maybe give you the helping hand, or push you sometimes to get into
True.
the water, so that he is there watching you and with you to learn you, help you swim.
But and ensure that you don't sink.
Yeah, you don't sink. Yeah, yeah. That
True.
goes without saying. Good.
True.
Okay.
So
Uh,
what? So one thing I'll tell you, I'll give you a case study, Wilson. Here is that there was one supply partner of mine who came to sell something, a particular product, and I tried to quiz him on the product that was actually being presented. And this was a new young boy who probably was in the industry for 7 months or 1 year. I mean, new assignment, very small product. And trust me, we try to do little bit of R&D on that particular product. We developed that product further. That product went on to won at least 4 awards. Okay, it was one small interaction. That guy who would have come at that time would have gone back and said, "This customer is very difficult. He doesn't understand the product." But once we really engaged and we really tried to evolve that product, it went on to win international awards because that was, I mean, we used that as a base and we put some things around it, and that became an overall solution, which was a hit. So I think that's how the engagements can be more productive.
I can definitely vouch for that, Saji, and knowing you and the way you work. The best part of you, Saji, what I personally learned from you, and that's what I tell a lot of people who know you also. You are very process oriented.
Yeah,
And not only that, but you have that ability to even look at the gaps in the processes and still modify and tailor make it to suit the need. Because
correct.
all the SOPs and processes, it's not one size fits all, right? There, because
Absolutely.
someone has to go, someone comes in, he gives, someone hands over a process, "Bolo, take this and please start your work."
It's
But
true.
from with you, it doesn't work like that. So
Very
tell
true.
me, where did this came to you?
Okay, I'll tell you my background, Wilson. When I said I was a part of the hotel industry, I was groomed by an institution called as at that time called Oberoi Center for Hotel Management, OCLD
OCLD.
now, OCLD
Yeah.
now. And then at least it was a very, very grinding learning process. It was a year and a half of really, really going down to the ground, understanding and learning, question the status quo, seeing things, processes are not there for the sake of being there. It has to be understood why exactly it is, why exactly the process is there the way it is. So that was the first trigger. I mean, you basically, as an individual, you got that DNA coming in or the entire mutation happening there during the training process and the post training support that we learn from as a part of the being a part of that particular learning process of OCLD. Post that, the way I am, because I'm a science student, okay, so I work things with certain logic. Nothing I will somehow as an internal nature that if somebody tells me this is how it is, I will first want to understand why it is that way. If it is just being said, this is how it is, and because 100 people have used this thing, you also start up using, you be the 101st person using it. My natural tendency is not to take it the way it is. I will want to understand 100 have used it, very good, but I also want to be convinced on my own. And I like to understand the root cause for most of the things that I do. And I don't take things at a high level. People call it as a perfectionism, which today is not a very very conducive word, because people are in a fast paced world. Perfectionism slows you down, so people are not very happy about it. But I would not call it as perfection. I would call it as that there are certain things which has to be done in a particular way for efficiencies, for actual efficacy of delivery. You need to do things in a given way. Else, you will land up doing things. Some delivery will surely happen, but you would have actually spent more time, more money in getting the same thing happen. And God forbid, if that becomes your base SOP, then your organizational efficiency and the effectiveness will also be at that level. So for me, that's the learning from where I come in, Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I completely agree. What worked well in the past not necessarily should work well now.
True, true, true,
Because
true.
things evolve, things keep evolving. Okay, Saji, you've been in this industry, you're veteran, and facilities management. The name itself has evolved. Now people say workplace management and workplace experience and lot of things. And I think it will keep evolving. Where do you see facilities management few years from now, and where do you see now at this junction, and where do you see it going in the future? Which direction?
Okay. See, I came into the industry in 1997, Wilson. That was history, right? That was long back.
Long back.
And at that time, I started off as a housekeeping company. I created one. That's the first step into FM. Frankly, I knew nothing beyond housekeeping. Okay. I didn't know FM had the rest of the gamuts. It could be the engineering aspect, because when I come from the hotel industry, engineering was a different separate department altogether. Horticulture was a separate department altogether. Pest control, yes, dovetailed into housekeeping. But everything else was a department, yes. So, but over a period of time, integrated facilities management came in, where a lot of services started coming in into a gamut of services is more of a cost optimization effort rather than an efficiency optimization effort, because the specialization went to drain with that kind of an integration, or with that kind of with that kind of structure when the integrated FM came in. Today, most organizations I see operate with one SME for, let's say, a particular domain, and then you become an integrated FM because you have a domain specialist in your team. But earlier, that's not how it was. When that SME existed, he also had a team to deliver that particular knowledge down the line. Today, you typically have largest of largest IFM companies having a set of SMEs who are there on the top line, with having a very, very limited influence on the actual delivery on the floor, and no tangible matrices, tangible investment into these domains. Okay, that's the saddened part in the journey from 1997 till now, if you ask me. And where I'm seeing today is, I used to question long back, Wilson, the fact that the industry was moving towards a more of a manpower or a body shopping or a hand and leg business. I used to question it that time. And people said SLA models are coming in, output model, outcome models are there. But frankly speaking, if you ask me even today, while the models exist, but most times the measurements and the yardstick of denominator that we typically use is still the people. Okay. And even in that is correlated to the running minimum wages. Okay. Is the only base, then obviously the qualities, service deliveries, it takes a it's a long way to achieve. Wilson, you wouldn't believe, when I started, the minimum wages was in the range of about 5,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees to 5,000 range. Okay, that was the minimum wages then. Okay, today it would be what? I mean, for a housekeeping kind of a skill, it would probably be, let's say, anywhere in the 12,500 to 14,000, 15,000 range. CTC would be high. Okay, but that would be the range in terms of the minimum wages that you would today be, the entire range be. 20 odd years, 30 odd years, look at the kind of commercial growth that has happened, if you ask me. That it is very, very minimal. Okay. And the expectation of investing back into people, getting the a kind of a white gloved service and various other things is only getting higher, with the realization that it's not going to be ever received. But both the seller and the buyer both knows it. But somehow the on the table, the conversation is that, we are like this and we would want the delivery to be like this. And the other side of the table also commits to the same. Okay. The engagement itself is at times on a very, very false footing. Okay. The delivery is on a false footing. Once you're signed up, anyway, the marriage lasts for another 12 months, 24 months in the worst case scenario. So then the story is there. So I don't think it's a very, very healthy scenario today. Today, as a consultant, Wilson, I connect with both the sides. I connect with the service providers. I also connect with the end users. Everybody speaks, both the sides of the table speaks the same language, saying that, the services have to be improved. We are getting no efficiency. There is challenge. Quality is a concern. The service provider also speaks the same language. And both know where the pain point lies. Okay, the fact is, we have not built efficiency. You're paying a cost to a transaction, your cost to a person, rather than saying that what can be done better. We have not gone into cleaning, paying for a per square feet of mopping, or we have not gone for a per square feet of a glass cleaning. We have, but at the end of the day, what do? We don't want a 4 cycle. We'll reduce it to 2 cycles because my budget can only permit 2 cycles. So let rest of the 4 months, monsoon will take care of the glasses. Okay, so those are the kind of thought process on which we actually operate today. Going forward, I see very, very, very seriously, Wilson, is that we would not find enough people to carry out functions like housekeeping, because they would have many more opportunities available in the market. That's the first thing. There are a lot of other gig economy that exist, where the today's catchment of resources or people has opportunity to go elsewhere. Today also, if you see number of male to female ratio, it's easy to hire a female workforce than get a male workforce. because there are still people who are looking for a job opportunity. Male have today can do multiple other gig works rather than looking at housekeeping or related field as their main job or a profession. Going forward, I see this is going to be the biggest challenge: getting enough resource who are wanting to do this job. Second, you would have high attrition because even if you get them at the initial stage of their career as an entry level and you train them, you develop them, you may not be able to hold on because he will have aspirations or he will look for a job which is more satisfying to him rather than what he is doing today. So I see that as the next thing. To holding on to a resource will going to be very, very difficult. Is the technology, machines, or you talk about digital platforms, have they evolved to bring in more efficiency in these factors? I somehow believe that has not happened. So even if the workforce is not there, there is no alternate. I mean, whether you talk robotics, whether you talk better chemicals, or you talk about better machineries, I do not see that existing today to replace the reduction in number of people. You may have robotics today. Also, most organizations use robotic as one more added value adds which has been provided rather than really a replacement for bringing in efficiency or filling up the gap that probably a manpower will bring in. The second thing. The last thing which I would say is even tech platforms. Let's say supervision, if you're looking at. Can we do remote supervision? I'm not too sure. Yes, your AIs and various other mechanism or a camera-based applications can really help us do remote supervisions. But today also, the supervisory team, which should have been actually evolved, has not really evolved. Even today, they are most of a people manager than process managers. Your managerial team also are people, both in terms of client and his own people. They're more of team managers and client customer managers rather than managing a process as such. So today also, when you look at the end of the day, when you look at certain matrices as a delivery, for example, Wilson, you are in a large multinational firm. At the end of the day, when you look at how exactly has certain geographies performed or a certain account performed, one would not be able to really see the actual delivery on the floor. So there is, if you want to look at if there is any customer feedback that has come in, how have you reacted and responded to that particular customer feedback? Was last MMR's feedback still existent? So our more corrections are more on those fronts rather than driving our industry matrices and able to say that this is the metrics that I'm evaluating my team on and my delivery on. And we have been able to perform last quarter to this quarter on my service delivery performance this particular manner. So for internal reviews, it is more from commercial numbers and its related thing. But when it comes to our customer, it is more of people centric engagement and the matrices surrounding that. This will change,
Yes,
and
I
this
completely agree.
this will change because generic perceptible measuring yardsticks and people engagement can't sustain for long because you will not have the costs available to take care of the aspirations that the end users have. And that means you're going to ask for more. And if you're going to ask for more, they're going to expect you to give deliveries which are more tangible and more specific.
Bang on, Saji. I cannot deny this. And I am in full sync with you because after this delivery apps opening up, right? And because most of 70% of our cost is the wage cost, right? What are we paying is the minimum wage. Some of the places we try to get fair wage, but is the fair wage really a living wage? Whether the person or the on ground soldier for us who is actually delivering, is he able to have that four square meal or that standard of living for him and his family? I think that is the big vacuum today, and we have to really see how we can turn around this or bring a transformation in that zone, and for that, budget, everyone has budget constraints. People, when we talk about the outcome, we are still talking about input based contracts, right? We have to somehow come out of that. we have to talk about outcome now. What is that you expect from a partner like an FM partner? Like there are so many partners. What do you really expect? And what are the yardstick you want to measure? So coming back to this topic, Saji, and I think your company, what you have started, FM Future Labs. I think this is, we expect probably company like what you have started to educate both the sides, and let them know what is the real expectation of their users, right? Because I understand, I also know whenever there is a budget constraint, anywhere the first knife or axe comes onto the FM cost. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely, because we are a cost at the end of the day. We are a support
Exactly.
cost. Yeah.
So now being on FM Future Lab, can you just let us know what is this company and what made you think and bring this company out or form this company?
See, I'll tell you, when I left my last corporate assignment,
Yes.
I had another job opportunity with me. Okay. And frankly, tell you, Wilson, I joined there for 2 days.
Oh,
Okay. I went in, I joined there for 2 days. My mind says stated that, oh God, again, I'm back into same thought process, same working. Should I really do this, or should I stick my neck out and take the risk of going vocal about what I'm not comfortable in the industry, and can I be a change maker? I also spoke to few of my people whom was close to me, but hardly two of them, one or two of them. And they said, Saji, if you can sustain 18 months, okay, then you are okay. Because this business is not going to be scalable. It cannot become a $1 billion business, but it can. I mean, the model is good, everything is fine. Not to, because in our industry, everybody seems to be knowing everything, right? I mean, there is nobody who's seeking knowledge. There is nobody who's seeking information. Everybody is aware of everything. Everybody knows about things, and but there is no denominator. There is no measuring threshold. There are no things for anything. But yes, so not too sure how people will accept you as your business model. But yes, you if you sustain for 18 months, that means no, I mean you are able to survive. Now we have 12 to 30, 14 months now, Wilson. We've had a very, very difficult journey. Okay. Because yeah, our business is not scalable. B, the market is not very adaptable to a new business idea like this. Okay. Because people are very close, keep their data close to their heart. They don't want to open up to a third party their pain points and their challenges. Why should they say that I have this particular problem? And everything should look hunky dory from the outside. And a consultant in an FM kind of a space is unknown, first of all, right? And training, every organization has a training team and training department. Why would a third party come in, and what value would they bring into a training initiative? Third, service quality audit. Why would they want to open up their site or their vendor partners' performance to a third party to come and evaluate and say how are they really performing, right?
yes.
So there are these challenges which is inherent to the industry. But I took that risk of still walking that path and communicating. And we are not funded. It's all self-funded, Wilson. So there is the runway is very short. It's not a very long runway, and so we have gone through our difficult phases. But there are certain consulting assignments which has kept us alive. Okay, but yes, are we there where we are supposed to be? We are not. Okay, but I'm very happy with the tech application that I have developed. The tech application that I've developed is for what I call is an idiot-proof application. That anybody can use this application plug and play. Okay, in the sense, uh, you can onboard a site in 24 hours flat. You can get a layered, what you call your dashboards, your reports from the time you have uploaded and started using the application. And it is layered in the sense a site supervisor will have his information, a site manager will have his information, a corporate person will have his information, a regional lead will probably have his information. I've tried to structure it in such a fashion that the same data can be sliced through the system with the data input and is able to provide inputs to the rest of the people. I've tried to connect the inventory and various other aspects to this particular application so that it is just not a silo operational thing. It also gives you a rest of the business requirements also get dovetailed into this. So that's what we did.
Wow.
Okay. The second thing which we did was a service assurance audit. We did a service assurance audit. First of all, there was no takers, Wilson. So what we did, we went and did a service audit for all the metro state lines of in Mumbai. We did a service assurance audit of few malls in India, in Mumbai, and we compared. It was like a mystery audit we did, and we compared FM services as a customer's eye point, and we were a passenger's eye, view, and tried to slice and give the data to them, and we published it. We took a risk, but nobody sued us. But people understood the fact that yes, this can be evaluated, and there is a service differentiation between one metro line to another metro line, and there is a difference between one given mall to another given mall, though they all may be of an equivalent level. Okay, so that's something which we try to highlight. Once we did this, we got few inquiries, and we did for a leading developer, we did a occupancy readiness audit, saying that whether that building is ready for occupation. So we did that. Then we got another traction of businesses there. Then, from a training side of it or a people development side of it, I created a program called as FM 360. So we wanted to give this for supervisory and executive cadre because we felt that most people have only one orientation when it comes to service delivery. So I wanted them to see things techno-commercial side, digital side, people side, entire 360 side of what an FM delivery is all about and how it should be visualized. So I created a very 2 days program called as FM 360. So which covered four aspects according to me: people, technology, sustainability, and the commercial aspect of it, and tried to give in a kind of a capsule module this particular four deliveries for the people. Again, the same thing, because it was on a third party location. People didn't want to mix their people. That means what happens if there are four organizations, people come and sit in one room, there will be, cross contamination of information which may happen. So people were resistant to come into a common room and have it. Then we took this program to individual organizations and started doing it for them. So we did that particular part. Okay. Then consulting has been a very good offtake, Wilson, because there are people whom I've helped deploy technology pan India. Now I'm consulting a listed FM firm on a new division or new vertical that they're trying to create, helping them see through things end to end. Okay. But how much people absorb my information and knowledge, I'm not too sure. But I am doing my job by giving them my input, my insight, caveats, risks, mitigations at this side. It's up to them, the end user, to accept it and take it how they want to. So this has been the FFL's journey. We have got partners in various fields who helps us. For example, technology, I have also tied up with a partner who helps us develop these applications and the entire requirement of ours. When it comes to sustainability, though I myself, I'm pretty competent in doing it, but I have a qualified professional who supports in the entire sustainability reports and things like that. So we do that sustainability report also we create for people as a consulting part of it. Okay. So we have done that. And when it comes to tech applications and understanding, we have done it deliveries for a few of the FM service providers. So that's been my journey in the last 14 months. Difficult journey, Wilson. And luckily, I have another source of revenue. So I'm able to sustain. But else, it has not been a very. But I'm still keeping the fight on because I still believe that the industry needs to change the way it is, because I somehow feel, being in the industry for 30 years, a direction which is suicidal in nature, okay, and we are going there eyes open with a lot of people who have experience, a lot of people who have got great commercial knowledge, understanding of the business. When they are walking this particular path, maybe I need to stand corrected 3 years from now or 5 years from now, or else I think we are we are walking towards something which may not be healthy for the industry.
So, Saji, what I always believe, you know, sometimes the businesses which are too fast to operate, but unfortunately the market is not ready for the business, right? Some and But there is also a first mover advantage of of coming to or creating that service platform, or like what you have done. I don't see anyone who is doing this. So what I understand, you have different modules or verticals within FM Future Lab. One is service assurance that you talk about. Second is FM 360, where you develop people,
Training.
train people, because that is the need of the hour. Today, there are a lot of people in this industry, but if you ask me, are they at 100%? No, I may say no. Some may are at 50, some may are at 60%, but there is 40% still development needed, because this is an ever evolving industry,
True,
like
true.
I said, right? And then one, you have a consulting business,
Yeah.
right? Within that you consult, and the other one you spoke about is tech.
Tech application,
Yeah.
technology application.
So I want to know more about this. If you can just briefly tell us, what is this tech application first, and how is this different from all the tech applications which are available in the today? There are so many tech applications. Everyone are selling some of the applications which is somewhere related to the industry. Maybe
Okay.
property management, facilities
Got it.
management,
Got it.
catering, cleaning, technical. There is some different apps, technology for catering. We have different. So how does it assimilate in one thing? How is it different?
Okay. Okay. So for me, I have kept today the entire application only to property management, asset management, and end user experience management. So these are the three places where we are focusing currently on. Now, what I've seen is most applications which is today developed in the market are done by technocrats. What I mean by that is someone who has got an understanding of coding, somebody who understands technology, has tried to understand facilities management and put a solution together. Okay, it's
Yes.
a good start. The second is there is someone who created an application for an end user, had a good learning with that one first delivery of a product, and then he or she looks at it and say, oh, this is a good opportunity to now I can scale up to similar entities elsewhere. So you take that one given template to other locations and try to plug and play. And then you play the cost game because you have created for somebody, you have already done your R&D on that, but you do some minor tweak customization and you try to scale up that entire product elsewhere. For me, both are fine because we have to become digitally literate and we have to start using it. It is good. But what I've tried to do is the biggest challenge that I've seen when a technocrat creates a product, he sees it purely from the, the point of view of tech aggregation rather than looking at it from a user application and the UX part of it. That's the first part. When it comes to a particular product which has been developed for a given entity, when you try to what you call use it elsewhere, at times it is useful, at times some part of certain modules are useful, rest of it is not useful. So what I have tried to do is created a layered approach saying that in an FM business, there are certain structure which I've tried to build it as a base unit, try to put a data interfaces which is easy to use so that the loading, uploading of information, because no site has a very, very clean data. If you ask any site, do you have the asset list of the location? They will all say yes, but it will be in a different formats, different ways. You do not have it in a standard template. So templatizing the information in a given format. And the day I have that and then I upload it, the rest of the story is maybe even not in 1 hour, 2 hours. It will
Wow.
actually get converted into the information that is needed. Uh, the third aspect is the user's requirement. When I say user's requirement, the user's requirement point of view, if you ask me, you will realize that it is very different. Like what a manager needs is very different from what a site supervisor needs, or what an actual user requires, like a janitor requires. It's a very different tool. Today, most janitors are not on a tech application. It's a supervisor who is on the tech application. I'm talking about from a cleaning science. I'm not talking
Yes.
this from the engineering side. Engineering, even a technician is on the application.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you look at a Swiggy, Zomato, or any other aggregator, the actual doer is on an app today. He is running as his individual domain. I mean, he knows this location, this order is mine. I am responsible for delivering, and I am owning up the end-to-end delivery of mine. You don't really require a supervisory cadre there to actually manage, because he's self-auditing, self-confirming, self-managing it. In our business, out of the workforce, for example, most organizations proudly say that I have 40,000 people or I have 30,000 people. How many of them are on a tech platform? 100, 200, 300 of them. So how are your tech enabled thing? So for me, that idiot proof solution is, I want even the last mile person to actually use the application and be happy about it. And he also gets some kind of a dashboard for him, which he understands.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the
Essence of
solution, essence of the
great.
solution that I put.
Okay, no. So what I understand is, this platform helps the service provider side, that is like FM players, then the customers, right? And the third
Is the user,
user.
the user.
Okay, okay, the user. And how? Tell me, if will it also throw some data on a dashboard
Absolutely.
where people will be able to take some decision based on the data?
Absolutely. I mean, so typically in an asset management application, it's the asset life cycle, downtimes, uptimes, mean time between failures, all those kind of aspect is covered. When it comes to the soft services, it is more of your planning versus execution, which team has performed well, which site is doing well, which individual has missed certain things for whatever reasons. So this information flow is readily available, because at the end of the day, today the data is available, Wilson, in even in any application. But at the end of the day, there is a lack of time to actually study the data and take corrective action. One. B, there is no self-correction. We always think that the data has to flow elsewhere, and the correction has to happen once the data is flown to the somebody else, and then the data gets flown back. Right. So that
Yeah,
so here, if the data flows back to the doer himself and says that this is where it's like you are watching your watch, which says that this is where you can still improve. I think that's the right way to self-correct your service delivery, rather than looking for somebody else to come and say, oh, tomorrow rating come hai, now you will have to improve on it. So I think that's the
yeah.
kind of mechanism that I have put together.
So your dashboard can be directly used for like MMRs and QBRs. Just
Absolutely, absolutely. Just plug
download
it,
it,
just download it, and use it as a one of the PPTs.
right? So you don't. Someone doesn't have to sit and create those
No,
funky charts, right?
no,
Just plug it,
no.
just import and put it, and
Correct,
just
correct.
great.
Just use
Okay, so
rather you open it there and you showcase that this is which dates, which timelines you would want to see it. Have a look at it. This is what it's showing.
okay, very nice. Okay, so is this technology out in the market, or you going to
Yes.
launch it now?
No, it is out in the market.
Is it?
It's out in
Okay,
the
okay,
market. Yeah,
very
yeah,
nice. Okay,
yeah.
so if someone wants to have a demo or a trial, they can get in touch with you, right?
Yes, absolutely,
Okay, will you be
absolutely.
also able to give us some data points so that when I use this, upload this, I can also use some of those, with the video, and we can also put it, so that if
Okay.
some user is interested to get in touch with
True,
you
true,
or
true, true.
understand,
At
they can,
least
like,
correct,
yeah,
correct.
good. Okay, Saji, now coming back to again FM Future Labs, I think you said it's been 13 to 14 months, and still long way to go. And I'm very sure, knowing you from long, you will definitely get the success that you have envisioned when you created this platform. And I don't see anyone today doing this in a very comprehensive way.
Correct.
Someone may do audit, some may do quality assurance. There are also develop leadership development or people development company who will come and who have their own structure way, and there are also some institutions, known institutions who do this certified programs,
Correct,
but
correct.
but no one does it in a very comprehensive, and no one ever thought about it. So I think it's a very noble idea. Also, I also look at it, Saji, from my point of view, is giving back to the society and the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, that is the reason. See, I've been burning quite a few of both time and money on this
Yeah.
entire enterprise for some time. That's only way is because I do believe that there's a cause which has to be addressed by someone. Okay, so that is the so I would not take it as from purely as from giving it back, but the fact that someone has to run this entire mantle to the extent possible, and I'm taking that mantle at this point in time. Till the time I have that energy and passion, I will.
Yeah, and definitely you will, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Saji, you said you have worked with a lot of segments, in this domain. Which is the segment do you think needs a lot of maturity? Uh,
Okay, is service provider also a segment?
no, so
Only,
I
only
will
from
say
only from manufacturing
customer point of view. Yes.
from the customer point of view. Okay, for me, from a customer's point of view, I think the at this point in time, I somehow believe is the manufacturing side of it is probably where I think is the is a lot of learning and a lot of support is needed from an FM perspective. Because for me, IT enabled because of the space that they are in, they're much more evolved. You look at it from a data center, they're much more evolved. A banking, much more evolved. But yes, retail to some extent really needs to step up their game. And I would suggest that manufacturing is another sector which needs to infrastructure. I think a lot of growth is happening on infrastructure. You build bridges, airports, railway stations, metros, but are we really investing enough on managing and maintaining it? I somehow believe is hardly anything. So I think that's where I think there is enough scope there.
So when you say infra, largely the government sector.
Government sector, but today's public is people private public partnership. It's mostly PPPs. So the PPPs need to really factor in the cost of maintaining the entire FM thing while they are designing their projects. It can't be an afterthought.
No, no, I agree. Okay, Saji, if I have to ask you about, you said 360, your FM 360, where you help people development, and since a lot of what you call employment is getting generated in this industry, earlier FM, may people were really little reluctant to join FM. Even I initially when I started, the people never knew what is FM industry. And today also people, maybe if you go to talk about, I work for a facilities management company, okay, facilities management, okay. Now we are encouraging the youth to join us. So there are a lot of institutes, universities who have started courses in facilities management. Like we also, there are some companies who work with some of the universities, and there are lectures in facilities management. For someone who wants to start a career in this industry, what is the advice would you give to those people?
First of all, I would say that it's an industry which is evolving and growing. As much as the real estate grows, opportunities are ample. So that's the
Yes.
positive side of it. That means it's a growing industry. Second is the fact that if you are even half good, okay, you're recognized in this industry. You are, because at the end of the day, it is not a space where you have to be really, really, number one in your course or certain things to actually get accepted by the industry.
Yes.
Is the positive side of it. Third, it's a long haul. It's a difficult space. You have to be on your feet. You have to deal with multiple kinds of people. You have to deal with multiple kind of spectrum from the society. You need to have the ability to engage with all sides of the societal spectrum. You need to have the ability to enjoy 24 by 7 kind of a business operations. If these are the strengths that you think you need to you need to enhance, FM is the right space. It's a growing industry. That's the best part of it. I mean, it will never stop. It's a basic fundamental essential service, so you will never be dearth of opportunities. That's the
I
first
agree.
part. Okay, and second is the fact that if you're half good, sky is the limit. So people will be there, always there to scout you and find an opportunity for you and ensure that you have some employment, some job available for you. But
Yes.
yes, going forward, it will be tech enabled. So I think the more you are tech savvy, maybe it will help you, navigate the journey much easier.
Yeah, thanks, Haji, for that. Uh, Two more questions. One, well, the first one is there is a lot of buzz about sustainability, and you also said you are also probably you have a lot of talents and wisdom on this particular subject. You said you're yourself, you know a lot of things. What do you think, the sustainability in facilities management, and what should we do from both sides, so that because every organization have their sustainability goals and targets. Some are talking about 2030, some are talking about 2040. They want to be carbon neutral, some want to be net neutral. So what do you think about this sustainability from both sides, customer sides and also the service provider, and what should we do?
Correct.
Not the future, but what should we do now so that these are
Now,
benefit?
correct. So at the end of the day, first of all, we
Yeah.
need to understand the business that we are in. Because in the business that we are in, there are certain inputs that can make a lot of contributing factor to the company or the end user's sustainability initiative. Typically, we are a scope 3 emitter. We are not a scope 1 or a scope 2 emitter. So, being a scope 3 emitter as a supply partner, what can be done about uh, about our supply chain, our various practices, our processes is something that we need to be cognizant of. Today, I don't think our supply chain, we don't have a green supply chain, for example. We go by our RFP, our tender, our requirement. I'm talking from a service provider side of it. And we see that, okay, which is the lowest equipment, lowest cost. There is no premium to a sustainable practice when it comes to a service provider side. Now look at it from a buyer's side. For him, a FM company if you're not into technical space, you are at 2 points or at 3 points into the entire carbon credit, of which he will anyways get 1 point just by virtue of doing something. So for additional 1 point or two more points, how much extra effort he or she is going to put in as an organization is where the what you call the seriousness of the of our business comes in. But if you're in the technical side of it, there are enough and more opportunities to really streamline, whether it's energy, whether it is resource utilization, whether it is the assets, how exactly they are used, various other aspects will come in. But purely from a housekeeping, cleaning, and related soft services space, there's so much that you can do. But I must tell you the impact with what we can do from a sustainability point of view, from the very virtue of the workforce that we have, the social impact itself is so large.
Yes.
Correct? The wellness impact itself is so large. The So from that point of view, it is a very positive part of it. You get where I'm
Yes.
coming in? The impact is very high. Supply chain, if you ask me, is something which we as FM service power providers or as certain people should ensure that the green supply chain and its value has to be understood in the long run. We really need to understand what is it that we are really, whether it's the quality of chemicals, whether it's the quality of uniforms, whether it's the quality of packaging, whether it's the quality of amount of water that we consume. It could be anything in any practices that we have. We have to really look at it. How exactly are we really having a is our SOPs driven, keeping these thoughts in mind, and it has to happen immediate, because I somehow believe that we typically create more dirt than we clean dirt, because we use more water than what is needed at times, right?
Yes.
So those are the challenges that we have. So educate people, get them to understand sustainability as a not as a fancy fad word, but as a natural way of living a life. B, entire system in the organization should be aligned to that. It can't be a customer centric approach. It has to be a practice centric approach. That means everybody in the organization should view things from keeping that in mind. And if you're doing waste management and things like that, then obviously there's so much that one can actually do.
Yes, true, Saji. And I also understand FM Future Labs also advises the clients or consults the clients on sustainability part and initiatives.
We do materiality assessment for them. So
Yes,
we assess their current practices and look at the contributors for materiality boundaries. The materiality boundaries are ascertained, and then also we help them. So we are not certified any kind of an accrediting body, but we help them evaluate the current boundaries, set goals, help them set immediate practices which can be corrected, and walk along with them to ensure that those are implemented on ground.
great. At present, you may not be certified, but definitely you can prepare them to get certified.
Absolutely. That is
Right?
where the entire journey. Yeah.
Yeah. You can
So,
help them to get
yes,
whatever
sir.
certificate they are looking for, maybe
For
green
correct,
building or any sustainable carbon
correct,
credit.
correct, correct,
Good.
correct,
Okay, the
correct.
last question, Saji. I you said it is too stressful sometimes walking on this entrepreneurial journey because I also started it, right?
True.
Knowing that, and also when it is self-funded, and when your cost baseline is going up and your revenue is not commiserating to your cost, and but I know it sometimes can be very tough. So there are good days, there are also not so good days, right? Where you come to office, you go home happily. Some days, sometimes you don't feel that happiness somewhere. So during those days, what keeps you motivated to keep going?
In the last 14 months, Wilson, there were many days where you felt that did have you really walked the right path? Okay, you question your own decisions. You question your own. I mean, is this a purpose? In this case, you are not the only person who is impacted. It's your team which gets impacted.
Hmm.
It's your partners whom you have associated who gets impacted. It's your family also has some kind of what do you call
Bearing on,
residue
yeah,
bearing on particular all the decisions
yeah.
that you take. So the challenge comes when you are accountable for the rest of the ecosystem beyond you, right? And so only way I keep journeying is the fact that I hold on to a belief, because if it's such if the if things were so easy, anybody would have done it, right? So the only thing is, because it's difficult, that's why Saji has been called to do this entire journey. So that's the self motivation that I try to
The chosen one.
the chosen one. So that's the path that I try to take. Second is the fact that even in that time, you somehow still see a spark of light. Some account comes in, some business comes in, or some positive things happen. So then that leads you to the next, cycle.
Yes.
So that's been the journey. But yes, there is a kind of a sustainable model in this particular thing. We haven't yet been able to break that into. But yes, I am, and I'm made of a tough metal,
I know
Wilson.
that.
So in that case, the difficulties I've been able to face through, but it has not been a very very easy journey. But yes, I think no journey has ever been easy, anyways. So, and especially when you have taken a journey which has not been threaded in the past.
Yes, I agree. And this also inspires me what you said, right? When if it has been easy, anyone can do it. If
True.
some because it is not that easy, so someone has to do it, and that is
Correct.
that Saji. So Saji, I think I really enjoyed the discussion probably, and my viewers will also enjoy it. I'm very sure there's so much of learning in this last 1 hour we had, and it was very engaging. I am very sure you also had the pleasure, by talking about your company, and I wish you and your entire team at FM Future Lab all the success, and I'll do whatever best if you feel to ensure that it reaches to the last mile. And this is a very noble idea that you got to create an ecosystem where you don't only consult but also uplift the people and educate them, and make them more efficient and productive, right? So all the best, Saji.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the best, Saji,
Thank
and
you,
wish you
Wilson.
all the very best. And thanks
Thank you.
for coming and spending this 1 hour with me. right? We'll be
Thank you,
definitely
Wilson.
in touch.
Thank you, Wilson, for having me on this particular, podcast. And thrilled. I mean, we have had a long journey, and nobody could have thought few years back that we would have this kind of a conversation
Yes,
in our career spans. And
yes.
I wish you all the best in your entrepreneurial journey, and do
Thank
well.
you.
And we need many more such initiatives and such journeys. This industry needs knowledge. This
Yes,
industry needs information. This industry needs to be moving away from the traditional way it is moving, and this is the right path that we are all into. But yes, we
yes.
need to hold on to it. Thanks a lot, Wilson.
Thank you, Saji. Take care.
Thank you,
Thanks.
thank you,
Bye.
thank you, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.